Hello? Oh. Why wasn't it working before? It's crazy. This is so annoying. My microphone's like, for some reason, not working properly. So there's a lot of like background noise happening here, and I don't like it. Wait. Okay. Is there a reason for me streaming today? Not really. Okay, whatever. If my microphone sounds weird, it's because it's being weird. I just kind of felt like doing it today. Nothing major. Although there are some things I wanted to do today because I kept seeing some stuff online, and I was like, maybe I should just do a stream on it instead of doing like a full ass video on it. Mostly, I've been seeing a lot about what's his face, this like EDP documentary everyone's talking about, and I'm like, I thought he was like done, but I guess he's not. And then a lot of people are talking about the whole Asmon ban, and I was like, is there more to it? And I guess there is. So I figured maybe I just stream about that stuff and then call it a night. If that seemed interesting. I probably should have titled it that, but I didn't want to make it the title if I wasn't for sure going to do it. But yeah, I think I just wanted to get on and just live talk about that because this shit's wild. And you guys know me. I don't really plan things out too far in advance. I'm more just in the mood for things. He should be in jail. Yeah, I want to see if this documentary explains like why he's not in jail. I have theories as to why he's not in jail. Mostly because for everybody, hold on. Mostly because I think this is exactly the reason why Chris Hansen shit wasn't effective. And if you guys remember when I talked about Chud the Builder a while ago, and I mentioned briefly how these like pedophile hunter videos, these people don't do anything good and they do stuff just for content, which ultimately hurts people. So I'm thinking that's what this is about too, where it's just EDP 455 or 445 only didn't go to jail because of how he was caught. So that's like one thing I wanted to watch. And then, I mean, you guys can decide. Do you guys also want to talk about Asmongold's ban, or do you want to just do EDP? Because I know there's another video. I think Asmongold uploaded a video discussing his ban. I do know that he said he had a health scare because I made fun of him on Twitter about that. Don't want to do EDP. That's fine. I can just watch it on my own. I just felt like give people the options. Because my only, legitimately, my only interest in even watching the EDP thing is to just see like why people did what they did. And I'm hoping it doesn't do, like, if it does try to like stain wash him or, launder his reputation, I think I can at the very least offer counterpoints, because I think people are memeing on it and not taking it like seriously. So I think, yeah, maybe I should watch it, because I think people are just memeing on this shit and not actually like giving it any sort of like critique. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna watch the video. If you guys don't want to watch it, that's fine. You can leave. But I'm not gonna talk about Asmongold. I fucking nothing to say about that. He fucking sucks. He's an awful human being. He's terrible. But someone took the time to make an actual documentary, so I want to see what this is about. So this would pretty much just be the stream. And if I could retitle this on YouTube, I would retitle it. But I don't think I can right now. It's live. Yeah, I can't seem to do that. At least I don't know how to. So, but I'll write it in chat that we are watching. We're watching EDP, and I'll put that. Why is Twitch so scared about banning Asmon for life? Because of all the racist stuff he said over the years. Honestly, I think it's because of money. I think it's just a money thing. I think he brings them viewership. That's all they care about. You know what? Fuck it. This is gonna be the horrible people stream. We'll go over the Asmongold thing, because I wouldn't be me if I didn't go over that. We can do both. The Asmongold thing shouldn't take too much time. But for those of you who do not know, he was banned. And he was banned because he said that we should be able to kill children. Like, I'm not exaggerating. He said we should be able to shoot children. And I know he posted a video. So let's just get this over with. Let's just see. How long is it? He posted this 2 days ago. Yep. So let's just get into it. But yeah, he talked about, I mean, I'll just react to it. How about that? So I'll explain why I'm doing it. Jesus. Okay. What is with the quality? How come the quality of his videos look like dog shit when it's a YouTube video, but when he has his Twitch set up, it's like 8K? Like, what is this? What? Jesus Christ, dude.
Hey guys, it's me again, and usually at this point,
and even like the audio, it's like, is this like a fucking webcam from 2003? Why is the quality so bad?
Made like 2 or 3 other videos about why I got suspended on Twitch, and I've been farming this a lot, but unfortunately something that has nothing to do with Twitch at all actually took precedence over this, and that's why I haven't really made any comments or said anything on anywhere about any of this. And so first part of this video is going to be talking about that, and then the second part is going to be talking about the Twitch suspension. I got suspended for 2 weeks. I'll probably try to appeal it, see if I can get it down to a week. We don't really know. If not, maybe I'll stream on Kick or something. Maybe I'll just take a vacation. I'm not really sure. I haven't decided.
See, and this is just, again, 38 seconds into it. This is what always like does me in. It's not as if he specifically needs Twitch, right? Like, he just listed his other options. I'm sure if he was like, I will sign an exclusive contract with Kick, they would give him the bag. This is something I never understood, because you see, like, he will always talk about how Twitch is a bad platform. He has multiple times stated that Twitch is a bad platform. Twitch is an awful platform. His little coattail writer, Tectone, also talks about how bad Twitch is. Anytime Asmongold faces any sort of disciplinary action, which is basically a slap on the wrist in comparison to what he's actually said and the rhetoric he puts out, it's always, Twitch is so bad. Twitch is so bad. It's so awful. They platform terrorists. I'm like, if they platform terrorists and they're so bad and they're so awful, then why did you guys always want to stream on this platform? Why does your god, your Roach King Asmongold, insist on continuously streaming on this platform? If it's so awful, if it's poisonous, if it's toxic. Like, he said I can take a 2 week and be fine. So like, so why do you always want to go to Twitch. Go on Kick. I know he streams on Kick. Just use Kick as your primary. I'm sure your roaches will migrate over with you. Like, it seems like they need Twitch more than Twitch needs them. And they want to shit talk the platform just as much as the next person who's not on Twitch. But the second Twitch is like, okay, 2-week ban. It's like, I'll plead it out. I'll appeal it. I'll do this. And I'm just like, why? You hate this.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the TLDR. So about 3 or 4 days ago, because the day that I got suspended, I actually didn't even go live. Now, why is that? Well, it's because the day before that, I had a health symptom that was identical to my dad's health symptom before he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. So this, I got really upset.
So do you guys think that coming face to face with mortality will give him perspective on maybe spending your life spewing hate isn't good for you? Maybe because he said his dad got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, which is true, but his dad wasn't like, I think Asmongold was like 36. I don't think his dad was 36 when it happened. Like, you think maybe this might give perspective? You think he might be more lenient towards other who might try to do things to better their lives, maybe even immigrate over here. Maybe in their country they can't even get screenings for this kind of stuff, and they can only get it here and they get a better life here. Do I need a volume booster extension? No, I can just put the volume up here. His volume is kind of low.
I was freaking out. And so I'm like,
actually do hook me up with the volume booster extension though. I might use that in just general.
Laying in bed, I'm fucking petrified. I am like panicked. I'm looking things up online. I'm messaging people. I eventually go to the emergency room and I go through all of this. And I don't want to get into the details of what the symptoms were or anything because honestly, it's kind of gross. But all you need to know is that that's pretty much what happened. And so I fell asleep on the futon over there, and I wake up, and this is like the day I got suspended, and I had been like, at this point, I had not been on my computer at all in like 24 hours, right? Because I was so stressed out and upset about this. All I could do was just lay down, and I didn't know, like, am I dying? Is there something wrong with me, right? And so
there was something wrong with you.
And I see the reflection, like this is just stupid, but like I can see the reflection of this monitor from this monitor, and I can kind of see, like, are there new messages? And I saw that there was like a post about like a tweet, and I'm like, I just had a feeling that I was getting suspended, right? I just had a feeling, and I looked and I got suspended, and I was like, this is the first time I got on the computer. I'm like, well, how long is it? I said 14.
Okay. So you have two different computers, one for streaming, one for recording. That's normal. A lot of people do that, especially, content creators, just for multitude of reasons. Still doesn't explain why this camera looks like it came from 1985. But also, you had a feeling. People were talking about it. You had a feeling you get banned. No, you knew you were getting banned. Come on, man.
I said, thank God, right? Thank God. Now I'm gonna have 2 weeks to deal with this problem, right? So. And honestly, that's the way that I felt. Like, I wasn't really even stressed out or upset about it. I'm still really not. I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, Twitch is fucking retarded. And
see, that's what I'm talking about right there. First, he says he's not stressed out about this. Dog, you made a 23-minute video. I think you're a little bit stressed about this. But just right there, he's like, whatever. Twitch is, R-weighted. So then why do you want to come back? Why do you insist on wanting to come back to the platform? Like, this isn't even like a situation where it's like you shouldn't try to improve things somewhat. You have consistently talked about how awful this platform is, and yet you consistently want to come back. It's not even Stockholm syndrome. It's just like, it's like want to have your cake and eat it too. It's like, I hate Twitch. It's so awful. It's so woke. It's so liberal. They have no standards. But I want to go back to Twitch every time they tell me to come. I can come back. I'll go back every single time. It's like, dog, like that's why part of me thinks that, like, and this is gonna sound odd to say considering that his video got like 2 million views in one day, but I don't think I don't think he has as much motion as he believes or wants other people to believe, right? Because like there are other creators. There are other creators that are gigantic off of Twitch. Like IShowSpeed's ginormous, right? Whatever he does will get like millions and millions and millions of views. Right? He's a huge creator on different platforms on YouTube. But like as far as like Twitch goes, he's not like a top Twitch creator. That's like Jinxie. That's like Queso. Those are like the big ones, right? Not saying that he's tiny by any stretch of imagination, but the way that he moves, it gives off the impersonation that he has to be on this platform. Like if he had to go to another platform, and maybe the other platforms aren't toxic enough or whatever, because I know there's some people too where it's like, hold on, I couldn't make out what you were saying. If you need a volume booster, I feel like that's you. I feel like I'm talking pretty loudly here. I'm looking at my levels, but anyways, what was I saying? I got distracted. But like the way that he moves, it very much feels like he needs this platform. Like if he had to go somewhere else, it wouldn't be the same.
What do you expect, right?
I think about the people there that strokes his ego and blindly agree. I mean, that's probably true. Although, to be honest and fair, I have seen some people in some clips push back against what he says. Not often, but they still push back. But I also think that it could be just like, more so like he's just afraid to leave the platform. Like maybe he's afraid that he can't like do it again on Twitch. I don't know. Or off Twitch, I don't know. But it's just weird to have such animus for the platform that you specifically use and go to all the time.
But anyway, so all this happens, and, I immediately just got off the computer. I didn't really think about it, honestly. So, because I was so worried about this health problem, then fast forward to the following day, I talked to some couple of people that I know that I could ask about this, and I get one person, I go, and I finally go to the emergency room after talking to one doctor, and they looked at everything. They, basically said, calm down, retard, it's okay. And...
Wait a minute. Does he have a filter on? Oh, you can't hear Asmongold? I mean, I'm on max. Like, I have max volume up here. It's just his shit's low. Hey, I'll put my desktop up a little bit. All right, but don't get mad if it gets too loud. But is he using a filter? Look at this corner right here when he talks, right? Like, I'll go back a little bit. Look right here, though, when he talks.
And they looked at everything. They, basically said,
right here. You see the distortion?
It's okay. And I'm okay. I'm okay. Especially this morning, these symptoms have totally gone away. If you want me,
no, I think it's the filter. I thought it was because his camera was dirty. No, because it's only happening.
To be honest, like just completely
around the face,
like 100%.
It's not happening anywhere here. It's happening. I know this is nothing to what's going on, but I'm just distracted now. It's like an aura right here. If you look around his head and his face here, even right now when it's paused, he has a filter on. This is the filter. It must be doing like either like an auto smoothing like from his camera, but this is a filter. Look at from this section all the way around. It moves when he moves, but this doesn't.
I'm still worried. I am. I'm 36 years old. I have had really no health problems ever in my entire life other than my teeth. And I see all my friends.
You can't, you can't say, you can't say you haven't had any other health problems other than your teeth. That's a significant health problem. That is a significant health problem. But go off, I guess.
That are like, now they have this issue, now they have that issue, and it's like, when is it going to be time? My mom used to always say, and this would always upset me, but it's true, something's going to take you home, right? And it does really scare me a lot, and I, like a lot of times I like to think of myself as being above that, right? But whenever you're faced with it, I realized that I was very much below it. I was extremely scared, I was very upset, and I was really worried. And so I've been dealing with that for the past about 3 or 4 days, and now that it's at least partially resolved, I'm probably going to get a follow-up appointment. And
also, you know what? I just thought about this. He said that he was going to talk about this first and then get into like the why he got banned. I think he's trying to humanize himself. I think he's trying to humanize himself. I think he's trying to be like, look, I'm a normal person. I get health issues. I get scared of mortality, whatever. So that when he starts talking about the heinous shit that he did, you're like, oh, but he's still human.
Have, you know, like a bit more like testing done about this to make sure that I'm okay. But otherwise, you know, like that's pretty much the reason why I didn't make any comments about it. I was just so preoccupied with that you know, like I just didn't really even give a fuck about Twitch, right? I mean, it's funny how, you know, you can have something that's like, you know, one of the biggest parts of your life, which is like my stream, and then like something else can happen, and it's like the other thing just doesn't even exist anymore, right? It's a very, very weird paradox of life. But anyway, so that's pretty much what happened with me, you know, a couple of days ago and a few days ago. That's why I even taken a day off that day. And so, you know, this happens, and I'm like, oh, wow, I'm such a relief. Now I don't have to feel bad about not going live, right? And so anyway, I got suspended for 14 days. That's what happened. You know, again, you know, wow, a 36-year-old man has a health scare. This has never happened before in the history of humanity. But yeah, that's pretty much what it was. So anyway, the second part is going to be about why I got suspended. So I got suspended because and just to add some context, because this has been very editorialized on the on Twitter.
Oh,
and
goody,
like
goody. Give me the
but
context.
basically what I said.
Give me the context king who's never wrong about anything.
It was that you know, so Ceuta, which is and a little bit of geography here. So Spain is like on the top of the Mediterranean Sea. Strait of Gibraltar is like right here, Spain, right? And so underneath.
He absolutely just found that information out. That
is Morocco, and in the very, very tip of Morocco, there's a city that's owned by Spain, and it's been owned by Spain for hundreds of years. This isn't like something that's new. This isn't like a recent occupation. This has been going on for like, you know, since before like the, you know, it's like the Ottoman Empire time days, right? I don't know. I remember reading that the day.
What was that? Can I get the captions on for this part? What was that?
Before like the, you know, it's like the Ottoman Empire time days, right? I don't know. I remember reading that.
Reading. I thought you didn't do reading, because that's a form of research, right? I thought you just knew things. You just knew human behavior and human motivations. What is this reading business? You have explicitly stated that is like the one thing besides drinking water that you do not do, that you don't read. Famously, you've said this. And now you're reading up on this? Does he consider reading up like I was reading Twitter threads? Like, come on.
Date that had happened, but it was like literally hundreds of years ago. So they've had this city, it's called Ceuta, for a long time. City has a population of about 80,000 people, and 40 to 60,000, obviously just by the nature of this, it's not really verified how many, random migrants just all came over in about basically one day's time into this small city. Now, this has, in my opinion, like in any other point in history, this would be viewed as a military invasion, because
okay, it's time for me to chime in, right? Holy shit. Military invasion. Okay. So a little backstory for the backstory that he's lacking. It wasn't random migrants. Matter of fact, we can do this together. We'll just type in Ceuta and we'll see what actually happened. We'll see. Okay, let's see what the BBC says about this. You know what? Not the BBC. Let's do AP News. Let's see what AP News has to say about this whole thing.
Niente nel passaporto, nella carta d'identità, però è andato tutto bene il viaggio.
No me han preguntado ningún tipo de pasaporte.
Oh, no, not this one. Okay. AP, you failed me. Fine. We will do The Guardian. At least The Guardian would just be like, give me money, but then I can actually read it. Okay. Italy condemns Spain's unacceptable border controls as Ceuta fall intensifies. Travelers caught in a migration row at Madrid introduces checks on visitors from Italy in retaliation for Rome's move. Oh, so what happened? Italy's foreign minister has called Spain's decision to impose retaliatory checks on travelers from Italy incomprehensible and completely unacceptable, as people making their way between the two EU countries were left grappling with the effects of the escalating feud. So there's a feud happening about this. There's some backstory here. Spain started carrying out spot checks on visitors from Italy at midnight on Saturday. The tit-for-tat move came after Rome infuriated Madrid by launching checks on August 1st for travelers from Spain in response to the recent influx of about 72,000 people. Oh, why were they sitting there? Oh man, look at this. Authorities wrestled with the fallout from the mass border crossing as 10 Spanish enclave, Jesus Christ, fears it will happen again. Along with wide avenues and trees lining plazas of Ceuta Center, there were few hints of the recent events that could catapult the Spanish enclave on the North African coast in global headlines. We're sleeping on the beach here out in the open without tents, blankets, Iman said. 26, one of the several thousand people believed to still be in Ceuta after last week's extraordinary influx of more than 70,000 migrants into Spanish territorial edge of Morocco. We don't have bathrooms, added Yemen national. I barely managed 2 hours of sleep. It's incredibly cold by the sea at night, and during the heat, it is unbearable. The scenes of normality clashed jarringly with the population left deeply rattled by the crisis, said Ceuta's long-serving conservative leader. Ceuta's on the edge, Juan Jesus Vivas told the broadcaster TVE. Things have yet to return to normal. It is that 50 million people have entered Spain in a day. So actually, it was 72,000 people. Oh, wow. The precise number of people killed in the crossing also remains murky, with estimates as high as 141. Dozens of people remain missing, suggesting that death toll of the crisis, already one of the worst humanitarian tragedies at the European borders in recent years, will worsen. So basically what's been happening, though, is... So this is what Azargo was trying to explain here. But basically what happened was Morocco, on their side, told their people that they could just go. They could just go into Spain. That it was super cool to just go into there. So these people were unwitting pawns in this political tit for tat. And that's where they came over that. Not all these people are Moroccan, mind the way. Like you saw some people from Yemen, some people from like other African countries. This isn't a military invasion of any kind. That's the main point, okay? These are not trained soldiers. This isn't a coup. This isn't a hostile takeover. These were refugees, people who needed a place to go. These are migrants needing a place to go, and they were told they could go someplace. If you guys remember what happened in America when certain states during Biden's administration were sending migrants to different states, getting them on a bus and sending them to like Martha's Vineyard and all over the country, specifically like in California, as a gotcha to blue states. It's like this, but to a higher level. One resident, Aisha Ahmed Amar, who has taken to stopping by El Champillon Beach each day with her 2 children, bringing food and clothing and broadcasting her mobile phone's Wi-Fi signal to allow people to connect with their families back home. She said she'd been moved by the people she had met, many of them asylum seekers from Sudan, Egypt, or Yemen, and their readiness to care for those around them even as they had been seemingly abandoned by the international system and to protect them. I've been impressed by how respectful and polite they are, she said. When you offer them something, they often reply, no, give it to someone who needs it more. But the enormity of the situation and the way which it leaves residents such as herself on the front lines, scrambling to do what she could in the face of Europe's hardening borders, left her constantly fighting back tears. You want to do more, but you can't, and that fills in with immense sadness and a profound sense of helplessness. She said, it's never enough. So even through all of this, we are still seeing glimmers of humanity peek through. People showing empathy. These governments who are playing games to people's lives without any consideration what this might do to both groups of people, both the citizens of Spain and the migrants coming from Morocco. Like, listen to this. When Imad arrived in Spain, making his way across the border in an 8-hour flipper-powered swimming odyssey, he envisioned it would be the end of an arduous journey that began in 2019 when he fled attempts by the Houthis to recruit him as a fighter. I thought upon arrival, since I was arriving from a country at war, it would be easier for us to apply for asylum. But we found the reception center for migrants closed. There were no exceptions for anyone. All doors were locked. He scrambled each day to find food and shelter, while question of whether he would manage to request asylum loomed. I have nightmares every day. I dream that my family is being bombed, that they're killed, or that I'm deported to Morocco, he said. Psychologically, I'm shattered. Those who remain in Ceuta include an estimated 1,300 unaccompanied children, so minors, with NGOs expressing concerns that hundreds more, including some young as 10, could be wandering the city unprotected. One 16-year-old told The Guardian that she made her way to the city's reception center for minors on arrival, only to be told it was full. She had instead been sleeping rough on the streets of Ceuta. I went days without food. When a woman brought me food for the migrants, the man got there first and we didn't get anything. The same happened with the clothing. When we managed to get to the front line, there was nothing left. Jesus, dude. So these are just some of the people. These are just some of the people who came over here. And this is what's happening. They're basically doing a tit for tat. They're doing a tit for tat. That's what's happening. Which is just honestly disgusting. But of course, let's see if he acknowledges that. Let's see if he acknowledges that these are governments playing games using human lives as basically pawns. Well, no, he said this is a military invasion, so.
Of course, the overwhelming majority of these people are military-aged men.
Wait. So it's a military invasion, not because there are armed people coming to your country, not because it's at the behest of a government who's at war with your country, not because it is a violent takeover, but because they are military-aged men. What? Does he think this is like the 1200s or some shit like that? It's 2026, dog. No, if a military was going to come into someone's country, they would not rush through a migration point with only 72,000 people to take over a country that has its own military. That's not how that would work. Like that's an insane thought process to have. There are K-pop boy bands that military. Yeah. So like if me and like 100 dudes all in our 30s, Asmongold is basically the same age as me. So if we all went to a different country, would you say this is an elite team? If like me, him, who else they talk about a lot? Hassan, who else they talk about a lot? Fucking Destiny or whatever, all went to, let's say, North Korea. Would that be us as an American spies, or are we now like a SEAL team infiltrating this country because we all are military aged? Jesus Christ, dude. Military aged man, another right wing supremacist dog. Yeah, no, I know what he means. He's saying that so it's acceptable to kill them. That's what he's saying. He's saying that since they're of age to be military, then they should be okay being murdered because military men get shot at.
And so what I said is that I think that if you have that many people pouring over your border and you just can't deal with it all, like you can look at the footage of this and it literally looks like it's World War Z. It looks like a battlefield, right? It's like a hell on earth type situation. There's trash everywhere and everything. I think I'm straight up.
There's trash everywhere after a Super Bowl celebration. There's trash everywhere after a sporting team wins. Like, I don't think that is the criteria to go ahead and open fire on these people.
So I think you should shoot these people, right? I mean, like, I believe that. I do. I mean,
again, I listen, and I know some people will say, "Oh, he's just saying this shit because it's edgy. It's this, it's that." No, we're beyond this. Okay, we're beyond Asmongold getting the defensive, saying he's just saying shit that's incendiary. This is the shit he believes, and the reason why I say this is because remember, when he was just strictly a WoW player, he had a guy named after Anders Breivik who was a white supremacist who like killed I remember correctly, he killed. I mean, he's a Norwegian mass murderer. He's a neo-Nazi. 2011 terror attacks. He started a 9-year plan to finance 2011 attacks, forming his own computer program business. In late June 2011, okay, so the first attack was a car bomb in Oslo, the executive government quarter of Norway. The bomb was placed inside of a van next to a tower block housing the office of the prime minister. The explosion killed 8 people and injured 210 people, 12 severely. Like he is the guy. Asmongold named his WoW character after him. This isn't me making shit up. This isn't me trying to slander. He literally named his character after him. Anders Nordic, what after the discovery, viewers online critique point out that Anders Fingold previously used the exact name Anders Nordic for one of his own World of Warcraft characters. There's no way he just came to the same. No, he was using him. Okay, a neo-Nazi. That was Asmongold's inspiration for his WoW character. So I do not believe this is just him saying edgy things. Another reason why I don't believe that is because when it was okay to be woke, when it was like woke 1.0, when Trump wasn't in power, was Asmongold promoting intersectionality? Was he super going into the grift of being super woke? No. He was still a piece of shit, just less so. But the second he got the approval, he's been spewing Israeli talking points for free, unless, you know, the checks are clearing. He's been saying this hateful shit. He was talking about migrants this way. He gets pleasure seeing people suffering in pain. Like, he's not a good person. And so I low-key hate when people try to go, when he doesn't believe this. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And if you don't believe that, fine. But we can both admit that it doesn't matter if he believes it or not, because this is the rhetoric he puts out. Yeah, just fucking kill him. Just kill these people.
And this is a violent military invasion into a city, and after they got into the city, obviously these people were smashing out windows. They were obviously, you know, breaking into stores.
Obviously, because that's what we read. That's what I told you guys what happened. People weren't like sleeping on the beaches and all that shit like that. They were all committing crimes. That's all they did. All of them came in there and were breaking. I mean, was there even? I mean, that's what. Yeah. No, Cuta, right? Was there looting? Where are the reports coming from? What the hell is DW.com? Thousands of migrants remain stranded. Okay, I don't see anything about looting here. Residents stayed indoors and businesses kept shutters down amid food supply and scarcities. Circulating VOD videos showing chaotic street scenes. Yeah, what are these chaotic street scenes? Let me see this.
This image won't leave our minds the massive assault of 60,000 people on Ceuta, creating an unprecedented migration crisis. Today, with security buoys in place, they are still arriving, though now.
Time for captions.
They just stormed the city. Either they send the police and the military, or this is a war. What you are seeing is the storming of Ceuta's temporary stay center that occurred yesterday evening and night. At night, they gathered on the road and the access points.
Okay.
The government says more than 48,000 have been repatriated, but police unions and the president of Ceuta deny it.
And yes, this is an AI auto dub. I can't stop that.
And this is another image reaching us from there, that of fights among the illegal immigrants.
So the fighting is happening amongst the immigrants.
Look at the neck. The greatest migration crisis Ceuta has ever seen continues. They are also still arriving today in a trickle. They do it by
So what I saw, yes, lots of people, not everyone looting. Clearly, they're not. There's infighting.
After 2 days, everything closed, even the gas stations, everything.
The soda fair has canceled the period of highest income for businesses in the autonomous city.
So I feel like he's misleading just a smidgen. Now, were some people looting? Probably. Were all of them looting? No. And again, what were they taking? Supplies. It's interesting to me how this is giving me shades of Hurricane Katrina. When it was white people doing something, it was considered foraging. But when black people were doing it, it was like looting. Right? White people were scavenging and foraging. Black people were looting. It's kind of giving this fate a little bit of this sense here too. He's making, they're breaking into stores, stealing. That's not really what was happening.
Stealing things out of stores. I saw like one video. It's always hard to know like what's real and what's not. But I saw a video and it's like if you ever watch Troy, like whenever like a fucking Brad Pitt is Achilles, like stabbed the dude in the neck.
Wait, what? So now you're even saying that you do not trust what you saw because it's hard to determine what's real or not. But you're still going to be like, yeah, I saw a dude stab someone like in Troy. You saw someone get stabbed like Achilles did in Troy. You saw someone get stabbed in the neck like Achilles did someone in Troy. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
At the beginning of the movie. That's like what happened. Like one of these like migrants seemingly stabbed the random citizen in the neck with this knife, right?
I mean, I could just look this up to you, right? Who got stabbed? Nick Shirley. I don't what? This happened in a different part. It's mostly Nick Shirley. A North African migrant has been arrested in Spain, stabbing a 13-year-old French girl in Puigcerdà, Catalonia. So it's not even the location. So even if he had seen that, look, it's false. Here's the video he saw. Hold on, let me make sure it's not showing anything violent here. So this is the video that he saw, and it's not. I'm not going to show this video. Okay, see, I don't want to see someone get stabbed, but I can show you the top part because it's not going to play. But this is the video. A video went viral. Spanish citizen stabbed in the neck by a migrant left dying on the pavement. It's false. Spanish Interior Ministry confirms it directly 0 deaths by stabbing in Cuba between July 30th and August 1st. 2 knife injuries, both migrants attacking migrants. One after having an argument in the street. 1 suspect already arrested. The real incident list is bad enough without inventing a murder. Stone throwing, house raids, foreclosed, off washing lines, blocked roads, stores shuttered from looting fears. So the stores were shuttered from fears of looting, not necessarily even looting. A fake stabbing video does not compete with reality here. Reality was really the story. So yes, not real. So, and something tells me he knew it wasn't real, which is why he tried to cover his bases by saying, it's hard to tell. So why mention it?
They killed this person, I'm assuming, right? Or at least they're in critical condition. So basically the city is being terrorized by a mass invasion of military-aged migrants that have come.
Those are all dog whistles. Those are all dog whistles. City's not being fucking terrorized by military-aged migrants. It's considering that a large percentage of them were children.
Come over for, various different reasons. And people were saying that you couldn't do that because, well, there might be kids in the crowd. And my response to that is that you should shoot them anyway. You should do this anyway. And it doesn't matter.
Oh, so we're doubling down. We're doubling down. We're not denying that you said you should shoot children. This is advocating for shooting children. So many of his fans will always go like, no, you're taking him out of context, He himself is giving you the context. They're like, well, what if there's children there? He says, shoot the children. And this is supposed to be this is what's so funny too. They will be like, Hassan's a terrorist. Hassan Piker is a terrorist. That guy supports terrorism because he talks about socialism. And like 9 years ago, he said America deserved 9/11, which makes him a forever terrorist. But the guy advocating for shooting children, based and real. because he's talking about shooting brown children, which is always acceptable. No wonder he loves Israel so much. Holy shit.
Really what the collateral damage is. You should defend your borders, especially when you're being invaded.
Oh, by the way, that's a war crime. Like him just shooting civilians itself is a war crime, but like targeting children is like specifically a war crime. Like that is a war crime. Targeting non-combatants, is it? God, my Google search, my FBI agent. Well, never mind, my FBI sucks. But the agent watching me is like, what's going on here? Is it a war crime to shoot children? Yes, intentionally targeting and shooting children who are civilians is a severe war crime under international humanitarian law, as children are protected persons entitled to all time protection under the Geneva Conventions and the UNICEF 6 grave violations framework. We can go to, when is it okay to shoot a child soldier? Killing and maiming, Jesus Christ, this is going to be demonetized immediately. But yes, you can't kill children. You can't shoot children. You cannot intentionally shoot children. He is advocating for war crimes. He is advocating for people to commit war crimes. That's how little this man, who just had a fatal health scare, cares about life.
By such a massive force of people. So this never really was a conversation about like, baseline immigration enforcement. It was never about like, using kids or anything like that. But the reality is that...
That's a lie. I can literally just type in Asmongold. I can just type in Asmongold, and I'm sure that video will come up. Yeah, here we go. Here we go, right here.
But you can't shoot these people. They have kids.
Oh god, dude! Again, all this volume. His volume is so fucking low. No, there's probably a better video.
Blackmail, right? Well, you can't shoot these people. They have kids with them. Well, then
why is this video so fucking low? How about this one?
Would do. That's what I think they should.
There we go.
They should just fucking shoot them. Like I've said this before. Like I know that it might sound like, oh, well, you shouldn't do that. I have no sympathy for doing that, and I would do that in a second. Because it's the right thing to do in the long term. You can never look at in a very, very isolated incident. You could say, and there's always this is emotional blackmail, right? Well, you can't shoot these people.
He always, by the way, just makes up terms or misuses terms. It's not emotional blackmail to say you shouldn't shoot children. Like I shouldn't have to say that as a sentence to an adult man, right? I shouldn't have to say, hey, it's not blackmail. First off, by what metric would that be blackmail? Like, what?
They have kids with them. Well, then don't bring your kids. If you don't want to get shot, then don't bring your fucking kids. It's really simple.
It's really simple. It's really simple. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. It's just so simple. The real simple fact is if you want to migrate to a different country due to horrors, at least on your country, most likely by the hands of Western interference and imperialism, abandon your children there. Leave your kids in the war-torn country you're trying to flee. Leave your kids in the war-torn country you're trying to flee. Otherwise, Asmongold wants you to get shot.
You mean you'd shoot adults and deport the kids, right? Well, I'd shoot whoever.
By the way, his audience is like, you mean kill the... Like, his audience is like, we're bloodthirsty. Don't get me wrong. We're bloodthirsty, but like, we're bloodthirsty for you to killing adults. We love killing adult migrants. We love that so much. But you're going to just deport the kids, right? Like, you're not going to kill the kids. He's like, no, I killed them too. I would shoot them also. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I'd shoot whoever. I mean, if it's kids, women, men, any...
War crime.
Anybody, just shoot them. They're going to stop coming over. Because if you don't do that, they'll use children and women as shields to get themselves over. And then they'll put more women and children at risk because they know that they can use them as collateral so they can get more of themselves over. That's the way it works.
Okay, see how that's the way it works? It's not how it works, right? And the reason why I'm showing this clip is because he specifically just said it wasn't about kids. Yes, it was. That's literally why you got banned. It was about children. But to say that their strategy, again, he views brown people, immigrants, brown immigrants, non-white immigrants as a threat because this guy is a white supremacist. Like, let's just call it what it is. He's a white supremacist. That's why he fucks heavily with Nick Fuentes, right? He's a white supremacist. He's at least admitted that he agrees with Nick Fuentes. He just can't say everything Nick Fuentes says. So he funnels his audience to Nick Fuentes. I'm not going to find the clip. I've talked about it before. But he's white supremacist. He follows that ideology, which is why he fucking loves Israel so much, which is why he loves Trump and those guys so much. So for him, if he sees non-white immigrants, he just says that's an attack. That's an attack on our white people. That's an attack. So kill them. Kill them all. And he sees all of them as terrorists. He sees all of them as terrorists, no matter what. So he's saying they're all going to do this strategy, which hasn't even been a confirmed thing that, like, because he's obviously going to talk about Hamas, that Hamas has done. That's just what Israel says Hamas does, which is why they go and blow up hospitals. But none of this has been, like, documented. Like, this is what they do. This is 100% their tactic. Again, because the people coming over aren't trying to destroy the country. They are trying to leave the horrors from their country. And they have no other recourse because it's not the easiest thing in the world to uproot your life for the chance of an opportunity to live somewhere else. Like, I want you guys to really understand that is not something that people just do on a whim. That is a very difficult decision to make, especially because they know they do not have the paperwork ready to go, but their situation is so dire, they are risking that to have an opportunity to live, or at the very least for children to live, which is why they bring them in the first place. They're not bringing children so that they're not going to bring their children from a terrible situation to a different country with the sole purpose of using them as human shields. If they wanted their children to die, they would just stay in the country that they're trying to flee in the first place. So no, he's wrong, and he's also lying about it not being around children.
With a lot of these third world countries and a lot of their cultures in the world, if you use a Western frame of reference to look at the values and the morality of the third world people like this, you're going to...
The third world people. Yeah, we'll just other the fuck out of them to make it, more dehumanizing. So when I talk about slaughtering them en masse, you guys don't feel anything for them.
Render yourself blind. You will not understand their theory of mind. They don't look at things the way that you do. That's why Joseph Kony has his child army, and there was Kony.
Jesus Christ, Joseph Kony in 2012, in 2026. What the fuck? What does Joseph Kony have to do with what's happening in Cuba? Like, they're on the same continent, but that has nothing to do with that. Like, that's an insane point to make. He's trying to say, in case it's not clear, that all of these third worlders have the exact same worldview as Joseph Kony, which is hilarious to say because it was those very same third worlders who brought attention to the fact that Kony was doing this shit. This is like if they said every adult white man is just like Jeffrey Epstein. That is the white man, the Western white man's mentality. They're all Jeffrey Epsteins. So don't even try to understand them or give them any sort of humanity because they're all Jeffrey Epsteins. Because he's from the West. He actually, all American men are like that. Because Jeffrey Epstein's in America. He's in the North American continent. So every North American man is Jeffrey Epstein.
2012 and everything. That never really went away, by the way. It's still happening. It might not be necessarily him, but there's other ones that are just as bad, if not worse. So the problem is that a lot of Westerners' morality is built off of the concept that everybody else thinks the way that we do, and unfortunately, that's not the reality.
Fortunately, it's not the reality. If everyone thought the way that the West did, we'd be in eternal wars.
And so what these people will do is that they will bring kids with them, and they will use these kids as effectively human shields in order to invade the country.
Again, this only makes sense if your entire worldview, which is hilarious coming from a guy who notoriously doesn't leave his house, but this only makes sense if his entire worldview or your entire worldview is anyone who is not white that enters my country, especially with children, is only doing so because they want those children to take the bullets for them. Because in his mind, you shoot anyone who comes into your country illegally. You just shoot them. Forget due process, which is afforded by the Constitution. Forget any sort of humanitarian aid. Forget any sort of, even like at like the base level, deportation. Nope, just killed them. And since that's his framework, if you're coming here, you know I'm going to kill you. You must want your children to die. This is basically all those guys who get horny for the castle doctrine, aka stand your ground, where they can't wait to kill someone. The guys who are like, oh, if someone breaks into my house, oh, I'm probably shouldn't do this motion. But I'm gonna pew pew them. I'm gonna shoot them. That's this mentality right here.
And then take advantage of the people in the country. I view this a lot like a trolley problem. And so the reason what I mean by that is that basically you're choosing to stop the invaders here rather than creating a reward structure and an...
That is not... That is not even... That is one of the worst understandings of the trolley problem I have ever heard. Just completely not understanding the ethical implications of the trolley problem. For those of you who were born yesterday, the trolley problem is supposed to be a moral conundrum, a moral quandary, a quagmire, one might say, in which inaction and action both leads to an undesirable outcome, right? As it stated, there are, let's just say, 5 people tied to a train track. And a train is coming, or a trolley is coming. If you do nothing, those 5 people will die. But if you pull the lever, the track will switch to where there's only one person tied to the train track, and only one person will die. And the quagmire is, do you do nothing and let these people die when you could have done something, or do you do something knowing that it will directly lead to the loss of life? That is the point of the trolley question. Not creating a reward structure. Like, what the fuck? How is that the trolley problem? What is the lever in the situation then? Like, good God, man. Like, this is when I say these people, like, he's so uneducated. He's so uneducated and so incapable of critical thought that he can't even think through the fucking trolley problem. He's on the internet. He doesn't even look this up. Like, this isn't a live stream. This is a recorded video he uploaded and posted on YouTube. And he didn't even do the bare minimum of trying to understand what the trolley problem's actually getting to. Good God, dude.
Incentive structure around using kids, trafficking children, and effectively using them as political capital to fulfill an invasion's goal, which is to effectively take over this country. We're not take it over, right? But, like, you know, invade the city and then use the city as a way to get into mainland Spain and then disperse themselves all over Europe. This is, I think, a very bad thing, and I think it should be stopped by any means.
Yeah, the thing I made up, I think it's bad and should be stopped. The thing that doesn't happen, that I completely fabricated because I don't understand how anything works, I think it's bad, actually. Like, this is you're seeing in action when people talk about, like, it's here. What you're seeing right now in action is this meme right here. You're seeing this right here. One second. I don't know the exact name of the meme, but you're seeing this meme. Wait, it's called, creating monster meme. You're seeing this. He is literally doing this right here. He is literally doing this right here without exaggeration. He is creating the very demons that are haunting his mind. He is concocting a situation that does not happen and then trying to overlay it into a situation that happens much more often than not. People migrate to other countries for opportunity. Most people do not want to uproot their lives, but if there is something awful happen in the country and they feel like they have no other recourse, survival instinct kicks in. They will leave and try to find a better life. That is literally what the fucking forefathers did. They left the UK, they came to America, right? Like, that's literally how America started. And he's going like, no, you guys don't understand. It's really scary. Just imagine if these migrants came over and then they were like, they did a military invasion with no weapons, but they did a military invasion because they're all of military age. And then they spread out into the mainland and then they took over. It's like he watched World War Z and was like, yeah, that's how immigrants are. They're like zombies. They're like diseases.
Necessary. I think this is a horrible problem. A lot of the people that are coming over there, many of them could be criminals. We have no idea. People said Morocco emptied their prisons and let those people come over.
See, again, he's just saying people said that they let their criminals come over. And I believe that because I'm a dumbass. I have no critical thinking skills. I think this country opened up their prisons like, yep, leave. Because I think, by the way, hi, I'm Asmongold. I think anyone who goes to prison are all the same caliber of criminal. I think everyone who's gone to prison goes there because they've all did sexual assault and murder and violent crimes. Because only people who do violent crimes go to prison. No one who's had like a parking ticket they couldn't pay, or like bribed someone or stole something has ever gone to prison. Only violent criminals. And someone nebulously said that this happened, so it must be true.
I have no idea if they did that or not. I would assume many cases they did. That's what Russia's...
I would assume they did, though. Because Russia did it. Let me guess, to Ukraine? Because if that's the case, I think you would know why they would do that, right? Like, this guy thinks everyone's at war. Like, Russia doing that to Ukraine is because Russia wants Ukrainians dead. So yeah, they're violent criminals who killed. They're probably like, hey, if you kill these people, you join our army and you kill these people, we'll commute your sentence. But it's not like a thing that everyone just does.
Done apparently with Ukraine, and so I don't really think this is the first time this has ever happened. There's many precedents for this. A lot of people look at this
names
from
no
the
other
perspective
precedents
of human rights or something like this, and I find this to be one of
I love the fact that the concept of human rights to him is like human rights or something. I don't fucking know. I don't know. Some called empathy, some called humanitarian crisis. I don't know, man. I don't know. When I hear the word human, I kind of just tune it out.
of the most malignant and pernicious abuses and inversions of morality that we have nowadays. And I'll explain why. Never
Please
once
do.
have I ever heard about the human rights or the privileges or, you know, what's the right thing to do for all of the people in this city who are now having to be terrified in their homes, boarding their houses up. You have these migrants banging on their doors.
Wait. You've never heard of the human rights? You've never heard of the human rights? This is so stupid. Okay, let me explain why this is dumb, okay? They have police over there. So the police's jobs is to protect, protect the property most and foremost, but protect them too. They have protections. They have rights. This is not the same thing. This is like saying, I could easily then say, okay, all right. So when crime happens in America, what's that? Is that my human rights being violated? Sure. But you understand that human rights, there's levels to this shit, right? I at least have the protections of my state or city or area as a citizen. I have recourse because you cannot protect from everything. The migrants, it's a human rights crisis that led them to flee in the first place. Them moving isn't the human rights crisis. The reasons why they did is the crisis, right? This would be very different. They wouldn't be calling this a human rights crisis if they were like, hey, I lived in Italy. I got tired of Italy. I'm going to just illegally move to this country. Now, would that be called a humanitarian crisis? But if their country's being starved, if their country's being bombed, if there's civil war, those are humanitarian crises. That's what that means. You can't just arbitrarily throw that in there. Like, you haven't heard the human rights crisis happening for the citizens, because that's not a human rights crisis.
Smashing their windows, destroying their businesses, potentially violating them, attacking them.
Potentially. AKA things I'm making up. Things I am making up. You also just saw me not too long ago showcase that most of the crimes that happened was within the other immigrants, and there are actually citizens who want to help them and do more because they can see the humanity of these people. But this is a perspective you have when you do not interact with other human beings that, at the very least, aren't on your payroll. This is what happens. He has no concept of worldliness. So everything to him, he looks at such a distance. He looks at humanity from a distance and just goes, well, no, these guys are going to be attacking and they're criminals, because he fears everything. He fears everything and everyone.
And doing whatever they can to these people. You never, not once in my entire life have I ever heard about the concept of their human rights. I never hear about the people who have been the victims of these policies and this lax enforcement, whose lives have been effectively destroyed, and then for some reason...
Hey, probably because that's not what happens, right? Like, you probably haven't heard of it because that's not what happens. People's lives are not irreparably destroyed by migrants coming over. I mean, you're kind of stumbling backwards ass first into a point here, which is the reason why you don't hear this shit is because it doesn't happen. But you know who this does happen to? The migrants. Their lives have been destroyed. Their homes are gone. Their countries are no longer, some of them are physically no longer there, but their countries are destroyed. They can never go back. They might be seeking political asylum. They might be seeking asylum for other reasons. There's the lives that are being destroyed. That's the life being destroyed. Not the people who live in the city they're coming to. Because why would their lives be destroyed?
We never think about them. We don't care about them. The only people that we care about are these invaders that are going around trying to take advantage of the country. And I think this is a profound inversion of morality. I don't think that any country has an obligation to take in migrants. I don't think any country has an obligation to let people invade their borders. And
notice how he's just repeating himself too. I don't think they have an obligation to take in people. I don't think an obligation to invade their borders. Dog, do you understand the country you live in? He's in Texas, of all places in America. You understand that's how, like, your state came to be, right? It wasn't some sort of amicable parting of land. Same thing for California. Same thing for most of America. This wasn't some like, hey, you're here, we're going to dip out, we're going to peace. That's how your country was formed. And in this country particularly, once you're on our land, you have due process. So even if we don't like them being here, they still have due process. And if they have children who were born here, they're citizens. Like, he's trying to, like, and the thing is too, he's talking about morals and empathies. He doesn't give a shit about what happens in Spain. You think, like I said before, you think he even knew this place was happening prior to this? You think he knew about the other times this has happened? You think he knew about anything happening between Morocco and Spain? No. He doesn't care, but he gets to talk about this because this fuels his audience. He is white supremacist audience. Look at what's happening here. But he mentioned Russia and Ukraine. Why did she stop talking about that? How about talking about occupied Western Sahara? What about that? That's illegal occupation. And also, just putting it out there, there's another country you seem to be a fan of that's doing exactly what you said you don't like, right? Israel is a illegal, not even a state. It's an illegal force illegally occupying Gaza, Palestine. Like, they are illegally in Palestine. Nothing to say for that, though. Interesting.
I think that at the capacity that was happening with Cuda, I do think that you should use lethal military force to repel.
Also, he's trying to say like he only wants to use lethal force at that capacity. He was talking about doing this shit to fucking protesters. Do you guys remember that? When he was like, they should be able to run over protesters. This is also the same guy who was like, it's actually good that Renee Good got domed. It's her fault. Oh, but at this capacity, you should be. No. His number one option for anything is use lethal force. Run them over, shoot them, execute them, hang them. He's all for that. No matter what happens, no matter what the crime is.
A literal fucking invasion. Keep in mind, this is a city of 80,000 people, and 40 to 60,000 additional people tried to come in one day. That's an invasion, and I think
not an invasion
to stop it. And I'm not sorry for saying that. And it doesn't matter what you try to use as, emotional blackmail or something.
Again, with the word emotional blackmail, he's saying, do not try to use empathy. Do not be empathetic. I don't want you guys to empathetic to these people. Don't try to use what I'll call emotional blackmail because that sounds charged. But don't try to be empathetic, you guys. Don't try to understand what's happening. Don't do that. Just trust me, the man who never lies. These people are all here to invade, and they're all here to take your jobs and attack you and potentially harm you other ways. I don't know. I'm kind of making it up as I go along, but don't look at them as human. Don't you do that.
Something like that. Fundamentally, all of these different tools that these people use will never actually be applied in a universal way. These are the same people whose ideology leads them to thinking that 6-year-olds can transition to another gender.
Oh, here we go. What would a white supremacist / conservative talking point be if you don't have to mention trans people? If you don't hammer in trans ideologies? The trans ideology. You guys all know the tenets of being trans, of course. It's a very real thing. 6-year-olds can transition to another gender. I love that. I love that this guy is talking about children. So suddenly, he cares about children. But like 2 seconds ago, he's advocating for the killing of children. Which, in this sense, would also work too, because a lot of children who are trans who get denied their abilities to transition, which is never medically, it's always socially. There's no 6-year-olds that are transitioning. You can take puberty blockers, but there's no 6-year-olds who are like, I'm doing SRS. But if they don't get that, usually they do end up taking their own lives, unfortunately.
They're the ones that lead themselves to, defending Hamas and terrorist propaganda, because terrorists like to use kids as human shields as well.
It's always Hamas. Hey, dog, which one's the group that literally bombed schools? Which one's the one who bombed hospitals? Who are the ones who consistently target civilians? Which is the ones who target government officials too? Huh? With exploding beepers. Who did that? Like, he just repeats. At this point, he's specifically repeating Israeli propaganda.
Well, because they like to shoot rockets from schools. The reason why they do that is because there is a reward structure inside of our society that puts the damaging and the harm to children and women at a higher standard than the harm to, like, a military-aged man. Now,
What? Wait, hold on.
That puts the damaging and the harm to children and women at a higher standard than the harm to, like, a military-aged man.
There's a reward structure on society that puts the damaging and harm to women and children at a higher standard than like a military age. I'm so confused what he's trying to say here.
Now, in a general sense, I would agree with that in a peacetime reality, but whenever these people are launching rockets and large-scale invasions, I think that you need to look at this as a wartime event.
Also, now he's talking about, I guess, Hamas, which has nothing to do with what's happening in Cuba, right? Like this is an edited video. Why is this in here? This has literally nothing to do with the subject at hand. Now he's just talking about terrorists. That's insane. That's insane to me. He's saying women and children first are siding against men. I've heard talking about. No, that's what I'm thinking he's trying to say, but I'm really trying to parse that because I don't like putting words in people's mouths. But that is such an idiotic thing to bring up when it goes nowhere. Like he's just saying it. It doesn't go anywhere. What does that do?
And I would ask yourself, how many people got killed in World War II? How many people get killed in every single war? Civilian casualties and killing anybody who's not a combatant is a tragedy. It's a horrible thing to have happen.
Oh, there's a butt coming for sure.
But
Wait, what the fuck? What is this? Listen, civilian tragedies and killing children and killing women and non-combatants, it's terrible. But what if it wasn't? What if it has to happen, actually?
at the same time, it doesn't mean that you're not allowed to have borders, and it doesn't mean that you can't make decisions to protect your own people, even if it comes at the expense of other people that are trying to do this in bad faith and use this. And by the way,
you're not at war, though. I guess we've now circled back to Cuba and the borders or whatever. You're not at war. Morocco and Spain have not declared war on each other. These are fully non-combatants coming in there. Like, fully non-combatant. These are not military people coming there at all.
usage of people like this as human shields is a war crime in itself. And that
they're not using people as human shields. That would only, again, this is something he's trying to make seem like is a reality. This is not what's happened, especially in this specific event he's talking about.
That's, I think, the biggest issue that I have with a lot of these people that are criticizing this is that I don't think that they really care about these kids. They don't give a shit about them. Like, these are the people, they'll bring kids to an ICE protest. Why would you?
Okay, now he's talking about the people. He is schizo posting. He's all over the place. He's all over the place. Because now he's talking about the people talking about not killing children are the ones who are, the real danger and don't care about kids. Because why would they bring them to an ICE protest? Thank you for saying this, you absolute moron. Because what you are now saying is being around ICE is inherently unsafe. Being around ICE is inherently unsafe. So unsafe that children should be around them. And on that point, Asmongold, I do agree. Children should not be around ICE because they're not safe for them. Because why is ICE unsafe, Asmongold? Are you going to say because they have guns and shoot people?
You bring a kid to a protest where there's rioting and there's flashbang grenades and tear.
Who's throwing the flashbang grenades and tear gas, Asmongold? It's not the people at the protest. People aren't rioting at ICE protests. That's not what happens, right? Who are the ones flashbanging and throwing tear gas? And also, ICE goes after children. ICE goes after children. And I have never seen you make commentary about ICE going after children and that being a bad thing.
Gas being set off. And the truth is, and there is a reason for it, the reason why they do that is because they want to use these kids and the harm that these kids will inevitably go through because of collateral damage, and they want to use this as a political.
So now he's reversed decisions. Do you see what I'm talking about? He says, again, when they're non-white children, the collateral damage is acceptable. If they're non-Americans, the collateral damage for kids is acceptable. In fact, he has said he wants to shoot them. If we're just joining me here, here's Asmongold saying he wants to shoot kids, right?
Men, anybody, just shoot them. They're going to
Right
shoot
here.
whoever. I mean, if they shoot adults and deport the kids, right? Well, I'd shoot whoever. Yeah, I'd shoot whoever. I mean, if it's kids, women, men, anybody, just shoot them.
Kids, women, men, we just shoot them, right? But now it's, what did you say, Asmongold? Now it's what?
Why they do that is because they want to use these kids and the harm that these kids will inevitably go through because of collateral damage, and they want to use this as a political tool so they can advance their agenda.
I know that Christopher Nolan needs no more help because the Odyssey has made over $1 billion. But Christopher Nolan, if you're watching this, if you're looking for another projector to use, here's 4K IMAX right here. Because what do you mean they want to use their children as shields or collaterals to push a political agenda? Because that's not what they're doing. But your ideological side always uses kids to push a political agenda, right? You want to be transphobic, so what do you say? Oh, we got to protect women and girls' sports. We got to protect girls' sports. Oh, you want to be transphobic. We have to protect little girls so men aren't in their spaces. That's what you guys do. But also, I thought collateral was cool and awesome. Didn't he say that was cool and awesome? That you have to do it, but now it's bad. Now collateral bad.
These people they're sick. They're sick, evil people. And I also referred to the people that use the human shields as animals. Yeah, that's exactly what I think. I think they're fucking animals. If you use children as human shields in order for you to invade.
Again, all of this is something he's making up. This is a monster of his own design. None of the people he's talking about are using children as human shields. That has been a right-wing boogeyman talking point. That's been an Israeli talking point. That's not even happening. The thing is too, is the impetus of all of this is what happened in Cuba, but that's not even present there either. His whole thing is starting off of the wish that people would be shooting the migrants coming into the country. So that's not even happening. And now he's saying these people are animals because they're using human shields. If you use a human shield, you're an animal. If you use children as human shields, you're an animal. Until that, I would agree. But that's not happening. You're not giving me any case that that's actually happened. You're just saying this is happening.
A country or in order for you to do terrorist attacks. I think that you're a fucking animal, and I'm not sorry for it, and I honestly think that most people agree with me. I think that almost
now he's just schizo posting.
But unfortunately, we've had this inversion of morality where these truly evil, malignant, pernicious people have been allowed.
Did he just learn what the word pernicious means today? Because it's like the second time he said pernicious. And I also, yeah, I think he just learned what pernicious means. Because he's just throwing it in there haphazardly.
To use this fake moral authority that they have to dictate that we have to allow terrorism, violence, and complete societal collapse.
So do you see how he's associating migrants, especially Muslim ones, or from Muslim countries, brown people, with terrorism, violence, and complete societal collapse? The only reason why we are having anything even close to terrorism, violence, and complete societal collapse, white men between the ages of 18 and 35. Domestic terrorism. That's like what's happening, at least in America. A lot of domestic terrorism. That's happening to America. You look at this administration, it's a white supremacist administration. Not even joking. It's a white supremacist, it's a pedophilic administration. And these people in charge are creating the most divisive rhetoric imaginable. Like, straight up. This is such insane projection happening here. But again, he's also a white supremacist. He believes in that shit. He thinks anyone who's brown is a terrorist. Complete societal collapse. He says, as a multimillionaire living in a shithole.
And if we don't allow this, somehow we're the ones that are evil. I reject this completely. And I understand that in doing so,
just made it up,
there might
dog.
be some people, this isn't a very comfortable thing to say. It's not a very polite thing to say. This isn't something that you'd read on a bumper sticker.
Because this is not happening. Like, it's so amazing to me, the world in which these conservative lunatics have constructed. Like, they'll be like, oh, these terrorists. You know who's the biggest terrorist in the country? White men. Ages 18 to 35. White supremacy groups have consistently been rated as the #1 threat in this country. Even the FBI has stated that multiple times, that white supremacist groups, white extremist groups, are the #1 danger in this country. But he would never talk about that. He would never talk about that. Oh, we're going to have some uncomfortable conversations. Like,
but I think this is the nature of the world, and it's the nature of the reality that we live in. And I don't want to use a bunch of euphemisms and other types of vague and pacified language to discuss this in a way that is not authentic to its true harm and its true existence, which is what I think that's what it is. And
that makes no sense,
I
by
think
the way.
that there are definitely criticisms people have of me that are valid, where like I probably do dial it up a little bit too much, and maybe I could use different rhetoric, etc. But I want to let you know that I apologize for nothing. I meant exactly what I said.
Yeah, we know. I've been saying this for a while. You're a piece of shit. We know this.
And I think that these borders should be defended with lethal force whenever it's being invaded by 40 to 60,000 people at the same time. That's an incredibly dangerous thing for all the people that live in that country.
It's a good thing that you have no power politically. Well, I mean, not direct power politically, because you don't know how the world works. You do not know how the world works. That's why we have things called international laws and humanitarian laws and the ICJ, even though America skirts all that around. That's the reason why you're not in charge. You don't know anything about the world. Like, he goes like, this is what I believe about the world. Of course that's what you believe around the world. You have the perspective of a 12-year-old who's never left their house. That's not how the world operates. Like, this is honestly, he's a perfect example of why people need to travel. People need to leave the country. People need to leave the country, or at least leave their states. People need to leave, because his perspective is completely some Fox News, Daily Wire ass perspective, where like if he goes to San Francisco, he thinks he's gonna get shanked. Like, he has no true perspective on anything. He doesn't interact with different people. He doesn't leave his state. He barely leaves his house. He has no human connections that are of any sort of importance. Nothing grounds him to people. Like, he does not understand people at all. He claims to have a deep understanding of people and behavior, but he doesn't. You want to know how we know that? Because just in that article I showed you guys earlier, where there was a woman who lives in Cuba, and instead of her being terrified, wanting to murder the migrants, she was empathetic. Let me show the article again. She was, I think it was back here. Oh, did I get rid of it? No, come on. God, my Google search is it's fucking. Look right here. We're particularly concerned about the women and minors, said Abdullah Mustafa, the head of the Sidi Mubarak Neighborhood Association. Many sleeping hidden in the hills, fear of being found and sent back to Morocco. That means there are minors living with hundreds of men in a situation of extreme vulnerability. What they came up with was a makeshift shelter, setting up tents in a courtyard that were watched over each night by residents. All we can offer them is a place to sleep with some degree of safety. We don't have bathrooms, bed, or other resources, he said. We know this isn't a real solution and probably isn't even legal, but leaving minors unprotected is seen much worse. It is one of the many examples of solidarity that sprung up across Ceuta in the recent days, from dozens of volunteers who have been cooking day and night in a local flat to feed up to 400 people a day, to the mammoth operation launched by the local NGO Luna Blanca to hand out about 5,000 meals a day. One resident, I said this earlier, one resident, Aisha Ahmed Amar, has taken to stopping by El Champollion Beach each day with her 2 children, bringing food and clothing and broadcasting her mobile phone's Wi-Fi signal to allow people to connect with their families back home. This is what the citizens are doing there. So this man, who has never left the country, let alone been to that area, is trying to tell you that these people are terrified and they should shoot them and they should kill them. They should just kill them because they're an invading force. But the people who live there, who are actual human beings, can see the humanity in these people and want to help them. Because that's what it means to be a human, to be a member of our society, to be a human in this planet. You see someone in need, you do what you can for them. You don't fucking shoot them because they look different. Like he's the kind of person who thinks, like, he's very much in the same camp as the people who believe you can only have morals if you have religion, and you only do things so you don't get punished, which is where the term God-fearing comes from, right? You act holy because you don't want the wrath of God visit upon you. I don't believe that. I don't believe you need some threat of eternal punishment or threat of violence from the state, whether via incarceration or other, maybe punitive damages, to be a decent human being. This is just some basic treat others how you'd want to be treated. If you were in need, you would want help. So help someone in need if you can and how you can. That's what's being exemplified there. But of course, he can't understand that because he has no love and compassion in his heart.
And I don't think that a government has an obligation to allow a bunch of invaders to pour over and potentially kill their own citizens. I find this to just be horrible, and ultimately it should be stopped. Also, there are a lot of other patterns, like I'll give another parallel to this as well, is that in a lot of gang culture...
What the fuck does he know about gang culture? What does he know about gang culture? Mr. doesn't study.
What they do, and this is, of course, nothing like this is a monolith, but many of people like this, what they do is they'll use children to commit crimes because they know the children will not be sentenced in the same way that an adult will do. And what my biggest argument for all of this is that I generally...
So now he's talking about gang culture, and all he says is sometimes that gang members use children to commit crimes to get away with shit. To a certain degree, he's correct, but most of the time, he's talking about inner city gangs. They use them as watches. And I can speak to this because not only do I have a degree in this area, but I grew up in a gang area. The gang members didn't even want me talking to them. They were telling me to stay in school, don't be like me. They didn't want me anywhere near them. And to be fair, I didn't want to be in that shit either. Which I know is not everyone's lived experience, right? But he's making it seem like this is solely things gang members do and not like what just like criminals would do. You have a patsy, you have someone who could take the fall who might get a lesser sentence, right? It's weird for him to just bring up gang culture and talk about a weird excerpt that could apply to literally anything. Like this is like them saying, yeah, we send kids out to buy to sell like Girl Scout cookies because if I do it, it's creepy. Like the build up to mention gang members randomly for that is so weird to me.
I know people might not believe this. I think most people do believe this, but the people that don't like me don't believe this, or they don't want to. Is that I think that I really do have the most moral and ethical position.
No, I do think I absolutely, as someone who doesn't fucking like you at all, I do believe that you think you have the most moral and ethical position, which is why it's insane that you think the most moral and ethical position is to shoot children. I bet you also think Israel has the most moral and ethical army of all time.
On this, because the moment that you create an incentive, you also drive a behavior. And in my opinion, if you don't capitulate to this emotional blackmail, you
emotional blackmail for the third time.
Also don't allow yourself, you don't allow these people to target and victimize these children by using them as baggage and effectively shock troopers in order to...
Jesus Christ, dude. All right. Okay, here's the thing. He knows nothing about behaviors. I do, okay? That's literally what I do for a living. Incentive has to be specifically tailored, okay? Because people are not motivated by the same things. He is creating a world that does not exist, but he has created a world in which the only reason that people would leave their country and flee to another country with children in tow is so they can be killed. That is the entire premise of this line of thinking. And because of that, that's why he's justified in saying these people are barbarians, they're monsters, they're this, but not the asshole who's thinking this is how they all act. Because in his mind, he cannot understand, he cannot perceive that people may be living in such dire situations that they'd want to take their children out of those situations. Because he is a selfish asshole. He thinks of no one other than himself. I'm thankful he's not a parent, and most likely probably will never be, because his worldview is so myopic. It's so self-centered. He believes that everyone operates like him, which honestly is got to be an indictment by the way he was raised, because there's no way someone raised with two parents who love them would come up with the idea that parents would sacrifice you in a moment's notice. Like that's just I'm sorry, couldn't it be me? My parents love me. They would not sacrifice me. Like my parents are immigrants. My parents are from Africa. I mean, my dad is a citizen now, but like, they're from Africa. They came here, got the green cards and visas, what have you, they need to be here. I'm a citizen of this country, of course, but they didn't come here and would be like, oh, my son, let me sacrifice him so I may get ahead in life. No parent who's taking their child with them is going to do that. No parent is going to do that. At least not a good parent. I know some bad parents exist, but you're not going to convince me that people fleeing from awful situations, from civil wars, from huge economic instability, from all these situations are doing so because they want their children to get shot at the fucking border. Like I'm talking about this for a while now because I want you guys to truly understand the kind of mentality one must have to think that their children are being raised to be shock troopers and baggage, says the most moral and ethical streamer of all time.
Accomplish a goal. So, for example, if these kids are being charged as adults, the entire tool that these people were using, these gangs were using,
not going to gangs,
commit crimes on their behalf, this tool would effectively be rendered ineffective. But we don't want to do that because
it wouldn't be rendered ineffective. Oh my fucking God. How are you this stupid? How are you even in his own even in his own example, it makes no sense. The reason why they are, according to Asmongold, the reason why they are using children to commit crimes, these gang members are using children to commit crimes, is because he thinks that the gang members think the children will get a lesser sentence. And maybe that's true. But the real reason is so they don't get arrested. Why would they care if the children are tried like adults? Do you think the people who are utilizing children would then grow a conscience and be like, shit, we can't use children anymore. We better do the crimes ourselves? Or would they be like, whatever, we'll just use more children, they'll just take the fall? Like, this is what I mean when I say these people don't think anything through and they just say shit. It would not be effective.
Because it makes people sad to put kids in jail. But from my perspective, the way that I see it, is that it makes me
Wait, what the fuck? What?
effectively be rendered ineffective. But we don't want to do that because it makes people sad to put kids in jail.
No, it's because it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. We unfortunately try many children, often those of color, as adults. Like, I'm not going to get too dark, but we have a history of treating certain kids of color as adults, as aging them up by describing them as men and attacking them as adults. That doesn't make people feel fucking sad because they still keep doing it. But again, do you think people don't do that because, oh, they're going to feel bad? That's the reason why they don't do that. Or do you think the reason why they don't charge fucking children is because of mens rea? Like, god damn, he doesn't even know law. He doesn't even know law. Mens rea, the age of reason, is typically around 14 years old. Someone under the age of 14 years old, unless it's an extreme situation, cannot be tried as an adult because they literally do not know better. God damn, dude. Come on. This is why children under the age of 14, unless it's extreme, don't get charged, because it has been studied after studies shown that their assessment for risk is very low. They have poor impulse control. You have juvie for that particular reason. Yes.
But from my perspective, the way that I see it is that it makes me sad to see kids that were abused, that are trafficked, and that are put into these situations because the people that are truly and profoundly evil, the people that know this, know that they can use these children because they can co-opt and use your morality against you so they can push their own evil designs.
I know I keep saying this a lot, but what? What?
To put kids in jail. But from my perspective, the way that I see it is that it makes me sad to see kids that were abused, that are trafficked, and that are put into these situations because the people that are truly and profoundly evil, the people that know this, know that they can use these children because they can co-opt and use your morality against you so they can push their own evil designs.
Okay, see, the first part that makes sense to be upset about, because any human being, which I scant to use around this guy, but any normal functioning human being would not like the fact that children are being trafficked and abused. Just like they wouldn't like the fact that they're being killed, but he's okay with that as long as they're, I guess, brown or whatever. But then he wants to keep tying us to morality. It's not, they're not using children so they can co-opt our morality. They're using children because they do not care. They're immoral. They do not care. They're not using children so you feel bad about it. That makes no sense.
And I think that you do have to reject this in its entirety in order to have a society that isn't ruled by evil, inversion, and other types of just completely horrible people.
By the way, he's a Trump supporter. So the irony happening here is just beyond.
And ultimately, you do have to sometimes make hard decisions like that. But ultimately, making a hard decision like that should never have. That's my alarm. I was supposed to get up. It's 2:46 p.m. And so, excuse me on that. You do have to make these hard decisions. You do have to do things that are obviously, sometimes not the nicest things in the world. But I think that
The nicest. He's talking about justifying shooting children. He's saying you got to kill kids. You got to kill kids. The only way these little terrorists are going to learn is if you kill the children. Just kill them. Even though I just said that I feel bad because these kids are being co-opted, fucking kill them though. Kill them. Great. Just a great mind he has. Even his own examples disprove his own consistency. Because again, he's saying that if these people who he believes are all terrorists are coming to his countries and invading using children as human shields, then you should kill those children. But he feels bad because those kids are being co-opted to push political agendas, but not bad enough to not want to kill them.
in order to do that, you do that in the goal to preserve a culture that is the best place that you want to live in the world as well. So that's the problem that I have. I don't think that I said anything wrong. I think that a lot of people actually would agree with me. And
No, I didn't say anything wrong. Mind you, this is what he said. This is what he said.
They're going to stop coming over. Men, anybody. The kids, right? Well, I'd shoot whoever. Yeah, I'd shoot whoever. I mean, if it's kids, women, men, anybody, just shoot them.
But I said nothing wrong. I said nothing wrong. I think most people will agree that we should shoot children. Whatever. Men, women, children, whatever. We should just shoot them. Most people would agree with me. Except for most of the world. Except for most of the world. Like, you know who ostensibly does not agree with him? Spain. The country to which this whole thing was centered around. They didn't agree with him. Because they didn't fucking do it. The citizens actually helped the migrants. And the government, as shitty as it is for even putting people in these predicaments, didn't have the state unload against them. So, wrong.
I think that the way that we've taken military action in the past, things like, for example, World War II, would indicate that actually this is not as much an objective reality.
Do you think World War II was fought over borders and migration? Do you think that was World War II? And when you say we, I'm going to assume you mean the Allies and not the Axis. I'm going to also assume you mean America. So if, under those assumptions, do you think we joined the war because of, like, immigration? Because what is the point we're trying to make here?
World War II would indicate that actually this is not as much an objective reality that some people would make it out to be. And again, these are the same people that have no problem using children as props and having them, like groomed by adults, about.
You are a Trump supporter. You are the one who has no problem with children being groomed by adults. What? You support a man who was mentioned in the Epstein files like 1 billion times. What are we talking about? You support a political party that is all about marrying like 13-year-olds. And I'm not even kidding. The Republicans love child marriage. They love it. They love it so much they veto against it every time. Like they fucking love it. Bill to pass child marriage, built-in child marriage passes, 36 Republicans vote no. Like Republicans support at an insane rate. Like they have to seek support advocates are seeking support from Republicans to end child marriage. Like, Jesus Christ. 36 Republicans vote against law banning child marriages. Some cite the Bible justification. Yeah, and also, the teen pregnancy rates, right? Like they were mad about that. Why aren't Republicans thrilled by the fall in teen pregnancies? Like, it's insane. The Republicans are mad. We'll do Jezebel because it doesn't dox me every single time I come here. Republicans are mad that teen pregnancies are down. Fox News called the study alarming, and podcaster / nobody Katie Miller's crying, crisis. Like, big dog, this is the party you support. This is the party you support. You support Trump. You support the Republican / conservative party. You're trying to be like, this is the side you know who likes people being groomed by adults. Like,
about their gender, taking them to ICE protests, putting them directly in danger because there are rioters and criminals and violence there. Who would ever bring a kid there? And these are the same people that are saying that I'm wrong for saying that creating an incentive for people to human traffic children and use them as...
That is not at all what you said, just so you know. You were not talking about people creating incentive for human trafficking children and whatever, because that's a completely different argument. Also, maybe he's just stupid. People who do human trafficking do not go through major points of egress, aka they don't fucking storm a border with 80,000 people. What do you think? Like, what? No. They do not want to be known. They do not want to be caught. Why would they all go through there? They go through underground systems, not literally, maybe sometimes, but they don't just fucking go like that's. No, dog. They wouldn't do that. This is not human trafficking. This is not a case of human trafficking at all.
Human shields is a bad thing. And so I apologize.
And also, it's not what you said. Once again, this is what you said. You said if they were to come across and potentially use as human shields, you would shoot them.
I mean, if it's kids, women, men, anybody, just shoot them. They're going to stop coming over. Because if you don't do that, they'll use children and women as shields to get themselves over.
Which is an insane jump in logic, right? Like, oh, if you don't do that, they're gonna use kids, dog. They're gonna use the kids, and once again, his point is still, you have to shoot them. And since you have to shoot them, and they bring kids, well, of course they're gonna use kids as shields, because that's what I, Asmongold, would do. I would use children as shields. So of course, these parents who left their country would also use these children as shields. They kept them alive just long enough so they can be bullet bags.
And then they'll put more women and children at risk. Animals.
They call them animals.
Of course you don't want to do that way. And I understand the too many pussies that are too is that if you allow people
at no point
then try to think you don't want to shoot.
Is he talking about human trafficking, by the way?
That's just how it is. You say you shoot kids? Yeah. No, that's. I mean, obviously that's what I said, right? I mean, like that's clearly like. I mean, that's like, I don't know why. Like, why would you repeat it to me as if I didn't say it?
I know you said it.
That's literally exactly what I said.
So again, like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's literally here's you literally saying that that's what you said. You weren't talking about fucking human trafficking. You weren't talking about any of that stuff.
Keep the kids, deport their families. What do you think the kids do? The kids grow up and they resent you for supporting their families to turn to terrorists.
Yes, that's the only option, you guys. That's the only option. If you deport someone's parents, they will become terrorists. That's it. It's like the terrorist switch turns on. No radicalization needed. They just become terrorists. So you got to kill them.
No. You present a very specific scenario, just shooting into a crowd, and now there happen to be kids too? Of course, because that's the reality. Because if you have kids in the crowd, then kids are going to get killed in the crowd. Then you're going to use the emotional weight of the kids getting killed in the crowd as a justification to not shoot the crowds. But you think that shooting the crowds is the correct option, which means that you would be okay taking the risk of killing the kids, which means that killing the kids is somehow acceptable, which means that doing that is not a big deal. And
that's literally his own logic, by the way. So all this bullshit he's talking about, how he cares about kids and the lefties, that's what he's talking about. These people don't. This is all lies. It's all lies. He can't even be consistent to what he said like mere days ago. Mere days ago. He does not give a shit about children. He doesn't give a shit about literally anyone else.
That any way that you logically deduce this reality, you will immediately come out with bad behavior. You understand? You just create a human shield defense? Of course. All I'm saying is don't pull the kids aside and shoot them if you had a choice. I don't think they should pull them aside. No one wants to feel bad about
the fact that his audience is literally begging him to just say, do not shoot children. All I'm saying is don't, comma, the comma's be here, pull the kids aside and then shoot them if you had the choice. Them meaning the parents, which is still barbaric to do in front of children. And he's like, no, I wouldn't pull them aside. Shoot the children too.
The outcome? Well, of course, I mean, like, yeah, actually, I don't care about feeling bad about the outcome at all. I care about feeling bad about that I did the wrong thing. This is the kind of guy that falls hook, line, and sinker for the Hamas propaganda because he can't see past kids. It's so sad, man.
Like, what an insane thing to say. He falls for propaganda because he said he can't see past kids. Says the guy espousing right-wing Israeli propaganda to justify killing children. Like, he's going out of his way to justify killing children, to the point where even in his hypotheticals, where his audience is trying to give him a way out, he's like, no, the children must die. But I am the most ethical and moral person in this situation.
Guys, for absolutely nothing. I said it in a very abrasive way, and I'm going to continue communicating that way. Tao is
By the way, he did say that he should tone it down. Now he's like, never mind.
raised. The reality is that, you know, I was driving my dad to the hospital. He was like getting one of his cancer treatments. And he said, well, you know what's funny about this? And I said, what? And he says, well, now they can say you killed me too, just like they say you killed your mom. That's the way I grew up. That's the way I communicate.
Oh, so he basically said it's okay to say that he killed his mom, you guys. So all of the Asmongold dick riders who were like, I can't believe you say he killed his mom. It's okay to say it. That's how he grew up. That's how he communicates. The guy killed his fucking mom.
And that's the way I think. And I'm not sorry. And I understand that sometimes I use abrasive language. Sometimes I communicate in a way that's a little bit, harsh. And, you know, people can say I'm mean. They can say I'm evil. They can say everything. But they're not saying I'm wrong.
Yes, they are. Like, yes, they are. Yeah, they're saying he's wrong. People are too emotional, he says, after he said we should kill kids. This is what happens when you make a living sitting here one day playing video games, scrolling Twitter. You completely lose touch with reality and deplete your ability to empathize with others. Of course, there's some losers here. Some people are losers going to agree with him. But people are saying he's wrong. People saying you killed your mom. Calling for little kids he murdered over something they have no control over his most admirable moment ever. Shooting kids is a normal right-wing thought. I mean, that's true. That's true. This is a lie. This guy was not fucking deployed. Like, it's so funny. It's so funny. Like people are saying he is wrong. People are saying he is wrong. He got a taste for cut after killing his mother. Deranged. Signs of a psychopath. This is the same guy who complains that people talking about his mother. Why does Twitch have this double oh, this is for Elon Musk. Like, Hitler's dead because it's Hassan. Asmon, you can't say you should shoot violent migrants that want to kill. You're only allowed to encourage political assassinations. Oh, look at these found dick suckers. Who's an edgy boy? Like, people are like objectively saying he's wrong on just this account. Like, yeah, a lot of people are saying you're wrong. In fact, I'm sure if there was videos here, I'll read that in a second. I'm sure if there were videos here, if we just type like what Asmongold banned, didn't Phil DeFranco. Wait, I didn't watch this. Why is it? That's weird. I didn't watch this. Like, yeah, the quartering defending him is not a surprise. Like, of course, the quartering is not a surprise, but like, yeah, dog. I think a lot of people are actually saying you're wrong here. I think a lot of people are saying you're wrong, because anyone normal who hears this stance, killing children is correct and moral, would not agree with you unless they're fucking insane. Thank you for Donald Lobo. If Starfight's species were better without asthma, I mean, I don't know.
And I think that ultimately we should look at a lot of these uncomfortable truths with a lot more of a clear mind, rather than allowing it to be polluted by
emotional blackmail,
by people that I think want to hurt us, people that
I feel. No actual proof, though. There's people who want to hurt us. Mind you, he is talking now about, like, he's going all over the place. He essentially thinks, if we can break this down, that all immigrants, all migrants who are non-white are out to harm you. Because why is he trying to overlay, I guess, American issues? What's happening in fucking Spain? Like, they're objectively not trying to hurt him. And this is from a guy who often says, who gives a shit about other countries, right? He always calls other countries shithole countries, third world countries, whatever. But now suddenly he's trying to be like, oh, I'm like the Spanish. Yes, if they attack them, they attack me. These people want to hurt us.
Put us in a position that is not advantageous. And that's the reason why I communicate the way that I do. It is hopefully to normalize this type of language.
Insane. To normalize this type of language. To normalize the rhetoric of killing children. He wants to normalize talking about killing children. That is not me putting words in his mouth. That is literally what he is saying. He wants to normalize this type of language of killing children, of dehumanizing migrants. This is the world that he wants.
And for people to see things for what they are rather than what they want them to be. And I think that's
ironic.
For better and for worse. So that's the reason.
You think that's for better and for worse? What? He just says platitudes that are so empty.
Why I talk the way that I do. I'm not sorry. It's probably not going to It's probably not going to stop. I might try to. I'm going to try to obviously tone it down a little bit, because I don't want to get suspended all the time, right?
Within seconds, multiple contradictions. I'm not sorry. I don't care. I want to normalize this rhetoric, but I'm going to tone it down because I don't want to get suspended, you guys. But I'm not sorry at all. I mean this shit, but I'm probably going to tone it down. Even though I just said I would not tone it down, because this is how I was raised. I'm aggressive. I was taught aggressive because my dad said, now they can say you killed your mom. That's how I communicate. But also, I'm going to tone it down.
You know, contrary to popular belief, it's great to have a vacation, but I don't want to have them all the time. And so, you know, that's pretty much where things stand. Yeah, that's the way that I feel. That's my reasoning for it. I view it as a trolley problem, and I think it enables human trafficking the moment that you can.
What a summation. I view it as a trolley problem. Like, does he not understand? Does he not understand, by framing it as a trolley problem, that there is no solution then? Like, he spent the entirety of his video acting as if there is a clear-cut solution. Kill the children. If they're coming over with their children, kill the children so that they will not come over, right? So they can't use emotional blackmail. But if he's framing it within the context of the trolley problem, then there is no solution. There is no solution. Because that is the framework of the trolley problem. There is no solution. Either way, you are letting death happen. It's, again, like I mentioned before, it's either 5 people get run off by the trolley or you actively make sure 1 person dies. That's not, that you cannot force this into the trolley problem unless you want to just philosophically defeat your own argument, which I guess go ahead. And somehow, you guys, this enables human trafficking. Not, by the way, not the situations that create the humanitarian crises, right? Those don't lead to human trafficking. People migrating leads to human trafficking. He doesn't even know the causes of human trafficking. He's just saying it because he knows that will elicit an emotional response, and he's relying strictly on pathos here. He never relies on logos. It's only pathos, which is why he wants to keep you angry and scared, which is why he refers to the migrants as invaders, as military age, right, as terrorists, and trying to equate them with gang members, trying to equate them with criminals, because he needs you angry. Because if this starts turning up here, like it does for me all the time, you're going to listen to him and go, what the fuck are you talking about, you moron? Literally nothing you said has any sort of connective tissue.
Capitulate to that type of emotional blackmail.
Emotional
so that's
blackmail.
really the way that I feel. And I know this might be a harsh opinion. It might not be something that everybody agrees with, but I think it is the ethically correct thing to do, given the the implications of doing otherwise.
The implications of doing otherwise? You mean like the people in Cuba are doing? How they were helping the migrants? You think that's the worst outcome? The worst outcome for them is to help them, but killing them is the ethical and moral solution? Because the implications, of what happens when you don't kill them. What if there's more brown people in the world, you guys? Wouldn't that be awful?
So anyway, that's the way that I feel. Now, what's going to happen now? I'll probably file an appeal in a day or so. Hopefully, I can get unsuspended earlier. I don't really know. I'll probably I can try to I wish I could just talk to them. It's really funny. So like Twitch emails me and they say like,
okay, I don't care. Is there anything actually important happening here? Wait, what? Oh God, is he doing the whole, now that I've been banned, I can actually be a functioning human being?
Nice to have a little bit of a vacation. I've been stressed out about other like life stuff. I feel like I'm in kind of a position in my life now where it's like, what am I doing with my life? Where do I want to be in 5 or 10 years?
He said this exact same shit the last time he got banned for a long time when he was talking about advocating genocide. He said almost word for word the exact same shit that he's saying here. He gets his little slight epiphany moment, like, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? What do I want to be? Why am I'm becoming a worse person. This would be good for me. I can now do, I can clean up around the house and do other shit.
Right. It's like, kind of midlife crisis type stuff I'm dealing with. I don't talk about this a lot on stream because it's stupid, boring, and it's also, it's indulgent. And I don't want to treat my viewers like my own personal diary. But I have been going through my own personal issues as well, especially right after losing both my parents, and I'm living here by myself. And, it gives you a lot of questions for, like, what to do in life.
Just fucking move.
I don't want to get too into that, but, just know that that's the backdrop for a lot of the ways that, I'm dealing with things personally off stream. And so, and then all these things happen. I have this health scare, and it's like, oh my God, this is, am I dying, right? Is this happening? And so that's really kind of why I haven't immediately responded.
I love the fact, though, that, again, all Asmongold does, by the way, is try to, much as he talks about emotional blackmail, if I can steal his dumbass phrase, that's what he tries to do. He's trying to emotionally manipulate his audience and people who may be clipping his shit, right? He's like, no, even though he will say straight up, yeah, dog, I don't care if you make fun of me that killed my mom, because my dad said it's cool to do that. Yeah, I don't give a shit about these children, kill them. He will say those things directly, but he'll say some shit like this. They're like, oh, he's human. He's human. He's like the rest of us. He's a good guy. He's human. And then he talks about how he had a health scare, which is he thought he might have symptoms that might lead to pancreatic cancer, which is fucking fatal. And with all of that mortality in his doorstep, he's like, oh, so that's why I didn't make a video, you guys. It didn't give me perspective on anything. No. I still want to kill children. Don't misunderstand this, okay? I still want to kill children. I still want to kill children on borders. I want to murder them. Even if you give me a hypothetical way out of my made-up situation, I will insist that we kill the children. But I've been dealing with some personal stuff. I thought I was going to die, you guys. But I would love death to visit these children. Like, he's literally that. You guys know that Holden blood feast meme? Like, this is him. This is him right here. If you can see it. This is him. 118 years old. Please, God, just let us nuke Iran. Nothing else matters. I'll do anything, please. I just want to see burning flesh one last time before I die. Like, that is him. That is him. He was talking about he got symptoms potentially for pancreatic cancer, and he wants to come back, and his video back is, no, I'm going to quadruple down on wanting these children to be fucking murdered, okay? I want these children to die. I want all migrants to die. I want them to just shoot them at the border. No questions asked. I want everyone to know. I, Zachary Hoyt, 36 years old, who thought he had pancreatic cancer, I want you to know I still want these children to die so bad. Please, please just let me see the bodies of children being shredded by bullets. So that way these migrants, these terrorists won't use them as human shields. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Like, you know what the worst part? You know what the worst part about all of this is too? I am 99% certain that Twitch was just going to be like, yeah, we'll reduce your ban. We'll reduce the ban. Because one thing about Twitch, if what Twitch is going to do is not have backbone. They're not going to have backbone. That's it. And honestly, he has probably the worst audience. Like, the worst audience. Because all they want is just, like, look at this shit, right? I'll apologize for nothing, and I meant exactly what I said. Prayers for your health. Get some rest. And I'm not sorry either. Heals my soul. This is in reference to talking about killing children. That's why I do not give a fuck about what any conservative, any right-leaning piece of shit says. Because this is who they truly are. Especially anyone defending Asmongold. This is who you guys are. He's talking about killing children, and I'm not sorry. Heals my soul. I'd like to apologize to nobody. I'd like to take a chance to apologize to nobody. If Twitch didn't have double standards, they'd have none. Something's going to take you home. Dang, that made my heart go heavy for a moment. I don't care. I don't feel bad for him. I don't. I do not feel empathy for this piece of shit, dog. No one should. Because he doesn't feel empathy for anything. The guy killed his fucking mom. And again, it's okay if I say that because he said it was cool. He killed his fucking mom. What empathy should I have for this person? Twitch at this point may be blue sky streaming arm. Yeah, because how dare they not let my glorious Roach King talk in more vivid detail about murdering children? Like, glad you're okay, buddy. Glad you're okay, buddy. Like, fucking parasocial losers, dog. I'm 36 too, had 2 open heart surgeries and staring down the barrel of a third. The only battles in the mind, you got this, dude. No, big dog. The only battles against your own body. Listen to your heart. I better not hear an apology. Edit, no apology here, boys. Congratulations to us. This is about killing children. This is about killing children. And all of them are just talking about, thank God he didn't apologize. Thank God he didn't apologize. Thank heavens he didn't apologize. Take care of yourself, bro. Thank God you didn't apologize. Oh my God, I'm so happy you didn't apologize for wanting to kill children, Asmongold. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you don't want to apologize about killing children, dude. Like, Jesus Christ. Healthcare sucks, especially if you've lost a family member or from something. I've been through that shit. Panic attack. So you guys have empathy for him because of this, but him talking about murdering children, it's thank God. It's thank God. They hated Aslam because he told the truth. Fuck Twitch. Defending the border of a country from an invasion is one of the few legitimate functions of government. Like, I know this audience. I'm not going to keep scrolling through this because it's literally just that. Oh, of course, obligatory Hassan mention, right? The fact that Asman could do a one take for a video as serious as this, whereas his peers can't or don't, speaks volumes to his character's integrity. What kind of chat GPT ass thing is this? Him doing it in one take for a video as serious as this means he doesn't take this shit seriously. Like, holy fuck, dude. Like, again, there is not a single person more audience captured than this guy, than this fucking troglodyte human being. No one's more audience captured than Asmongold. Not a single person. Not a single fucking person, dog. And he needs this bubble. You know what I was asking earlier when I said, why won't he leave Twitch? This is why. He needs this bubble. He needs these people who will always reaffirm his worldview. He needs that more than anybody. He cannot live a life if there are a bunch of fucking losers consistently saying, no, Asmongold, you're right. We should kill these children. No, Asmongold, you're right. You're right. We should mow down these migrants. No, Asmongold, you're right. Palestinians are an inferior culture. They do deserve genocide. You're totally right. You're so smart. And your hair looks great. And that girl you're with is definitely with you because she loves you and is not using for clout. She definitely loves you. That's why she was definitely there during your health scare, because she cares about you. Like we all do. We all care about you. Like it's so, Jesus Christ, dude. Jesus fucking Christ. And of course Twitch is gonna be like, after close consideration, we are going to only ban him for 1 week. But next time, if you talk about hummus, if we do a hummus tier list that we approve, 30 days. No questions asked. It's like, God damn, dude. This is just the state of the world. This is just the state of online content creation space, right? Where you can just not only advocate for genocide of people, but you can also advocate for the killing of children. And you'll have an audience who will be like, yeah, based. Actually, moral, based and moral and smart. It's fucking parasocial losers, man. God damn. Like, first it was this, and then the whole retired NBA losers trying to join WNBA. It's like we were just caught in this eternal circus. I don't even have anything else to really follow this up by, so I'm gonna just end the stream. Like I said, it's a short stream today. This isn't a proper stream. It was just me getting the shit off my chest. I do think though I will be doing the EDP video. I'm not sure if I'm going to stream it or just talk about it, but yeah, we're done for today. We are done. I'm not going to do like the outro music because this isn't a proper stream. This is a thank you guys for stopping by. I didn't think anyone actually stayed this long. But we will stream on Saturday as normal. Later.